Hey man, great work. It's looking really nice. I just have a few notes to improve and clean it, but yeah, it's looking really nice. The weight, the inertia, the timing, everything is looking nice. So the first thing is just this foot. Check if you can rotate it a bit more to this side, because it seems that it's a bit too rotated to this side. It feels like both foot are pointing this way. Maybe you can rotate it just a tiny bit without making it look straight into camera, but maybe just a tiny bit more so it doesn't, so it feels more like the foot are like that instead of like that. Um, but yeah, if you can, that would be great. So next I would suggest to anticipate with the head. So lead with the head, start rotating the head down so that it doesn't keep the same angle all the time. Because here you see here the head kind of feels like it's on the same angle all the time. So here if you rotate the head down, just start rotating the head down, of course, with the neck a little bit, just a tiny bit, and then this is another note, but for the head, so that in this way, when he arrives here, you don't have to, because this is a pop in the head. So maybe this pose is great. This head pose is great. So what I would do is actually keep this pose and just make sure that when he rotates down, he rotates down, and this rotation down, he would be like this, down, looking down, and then here starts to rotate up and reaches this pose. So make it so this movement, poo, 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 flows. It's rotating the head down and then start to rotate up, and this is the pose when it's starting to rotate up. So instead of having the pose straight forward, then rotating down and then up, just from the beginning rotating down and then up, just down and up. And as he rotates the head down, is this jump. So it's just one down and one up. Okay, what else? Um, Another thing, just be careful here. See, this feels like a pop in the hand. So make sure, just be careful with these kind of things. And also, see how the whole body moves together here. I would try to add a bit more overlap. So, for example, if the arms are like here, maybe you can relax this arm a bit more so it drags behind. So the torso and the head starts rotating down. Then the arms are just tense a bit. And then at the end, when he's reaching the anticipation, is when the arm poo, 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 straightens back. But don't move the arms too soon. So delay the arms a bit so that first the body, then the arms, so creating that nice overlap. Um, Also be careful here. See that there is a pop in the hand. Analyze the spacing so that see maybe here if you delay it, you would have it something like this still, and then this, and then this would be too soon as well. This feels like a pop. So boom, maybe here you could start to see the hand behind, and then boom, 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 like here, and then here. So boom, 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 something more. Maybe this one is wrong. Maybe this one would be more like this. Always creating a nice arc. Okay, what else? Yeah, be careful with this arm. See how it's moving up, then moving down, and then moving up again. So it feels like a jittery motion. So also analyze the wrist. There's a trick. I don't know if, because sometimes Maya goes really slow when you use it, but you can track, for example, select a finger and use the motion trail with that finger. And what that does is basically you can analyze the movement of if you have the wrist on FK, you can analyze the movement of the wrist in FK and tracking the finger. So it's a little trick just to make sure that they move in arcs. Um, okay. See, because also the wrist moves back as well. So it's moving back and then forward again. So just try to make the movement fluid, always fluid. What else? What else? Hope the mic is uh, all right. Okay. Um, mm, okay. Here. Oh yeah. Be careful here. Also feels like a pop. Here from here to here feels like a pop. So maybe you can hear since it's a fast movement. Maybe here you could have something like that, a bit more bent even, creating that drag feeling on the arm. In this one as well, just a tiny bit on the wrist and just exaggerating the bend. Same here, maybe you could have something more bent, boom, boom, and then boom. Maybe this one not doesn't is not as high, just so there's not so much spacing from this one to this one, and then pooh, as you have it. Maybe here you can also bend a bit more, just a tiny bit the wrist back, so that you create a bit more overlap. So in this movement, see how the wrist stay kind of um, uh, quite rigid. Same with the elbows. See how it's just moving the arm from here. So maybe here, as the inertia settles, you can bend a bit more the arm, bend a bit more the arms, so that you see the joints um, in action. So it doesn't feel like the arm is rigid, straight, just a tiny bit. Maybe if you don't want the arms to go so back, maybe instead of rotating the arm from here so much, you can keep it more like here and rotating the elbow a bit more instead of rotating this part so much. Um, what else? Oh yeah, be careful here when the torso rotates forward, feels a bit off. See when he moves the legs forward, he rotates the torso forward, and I guess it's okay. But the thing is, it's a bit from me, it's a bit too soon and too fast. So maybe this rotation of the torso forward, maybe because here see how it rotates forward and then kind of stays on the same. Well, it starts to. It's quite close. It's quite close. But maybe I would actually delay just a couple frames. This rotation forward of the torso, just make it reach the maximum of the rotation, just um, a bit more, a bit later. Um, Also track the wrist because you can see how the wrist is moving down. See, boom, boom, big spacing. This reads as a pop. Maybe as is starting the movement, this one could stay a bit more back. This one could stay more like here. So starting the movement, and then this one would stay more like here, and this one would stay a bit more like here. Because right now, see how the wrist kind of gets stuck here in one frame and then starts moving again. So also make sure that we don't lose the arm, because here we lose a bit the arm. If I remove my drawing, see we lose completely the arm here. So try to make sure that if you track the wrist, boom, you can track the arc of the wrist, and it reads really nicely. So here you still have the arm here, so you can read the arc. Boom, boom. Same here, a bit more down. So the arc, you create a really nice arc on the wrist. Okay, what else? Here I would keep the legs up a bit more, because I feel they are moving down too soon. So you have this pose with the straight legs for a long time. I know that the reference has it like that, but maybe for animation you could actually exaggerate it a bit more to create that squashy feeling a bit more. So maybe you keep the legs up for a bit longer. So here they are up. Here they keep you track the knees and they keep moving up. And here they would be the extreme pose of the knees related to the body. So they would keep moving up in relation to the hips, and then after this they start to come down. Boom, 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 boom. So just a couple more frames of the legs and knees going up, so that creating that squash and stretch in the body. Um, what else? I really like this weight. Maybe. Let's see. I would say I would accelerate it because I feel it's missing a bit of weight, but I think it also has to do with since he's landing with the legs straight, we don't feel that much of a impact here maybe. So if he keeps the legs bent, so here the legs are still bent, they are straightening, but they are still bent. Sorry for the drawing. I'm with the mouse and so if they are wow horrible. They are a bit bent so that you feel boom boom the last two frames how they straighten and land. So we feel a bit more the boom, more speed in the impact because right now feels like ooh, it's too ready to land. I don't know if that makes sense, but I would like to see a bit more the impact being a bit stronger. Maybe it has to do also with let me see the spacing here. I turn on the ghost. See the spacing on the hips. See how the last frame is smaller than the previous one. So that's also I think what makes it lack a bit of weight because here in the last frame ideally you would have the biggest spacing. So in the last frame the hips would be kind of like here, so we really feel how it's accelerating. So maybe you can push the hips down a bit more, make the foot uh, maybe more flat on the surface, so they are not tiptoeing, but they are landing with the feet connected. Same here, the feet completely connected, and then as he moves forward, the heels raises. But at the beginning, when he lands, boom, the feet are flat on the ground and the hips are a bit more down. Maybe if that requires landing with the legs a bit bent, just a tiny bit bent, that's okay. You don't need completely straight legs for the landing. Ideally, you would have straight legs, but doesn't have to be completely straight legs. Um, Also here, be careful with the arm. See how it's moving up, then it's moving down, then see if you track it, and then back, and then so here, for example, if he's moving back, boom, boom, here would be a bit more back, then here would be again more back. Maybe you can start to push it down a bit because it's not moving back now, it's gonna move forward. So maybe here you will still see the arm, so don't lose the arm here. So we feel all the motion as well. Uh, uh, mm, Okay, here, because it's just to really sell the push, don't raise this foot too soon. Keep the foot pushing. So this back foot, just keep it pushing so that we really feel the push. Same here, don't raise it too soon. Uh, and here also too soon, moving up. So boom, just really, it's nice as you have it. Maybe this, reaching this pose would be, or this pose, it would be fine, but don't make the foot raise too soon, stay up and reach the pose. So maybe here they both stay more straight, boom, then they start to move up and move forward, but just a tiny bit, not so much, and like that. So a bit more progressive, because right now it feels a bit poppy. Um, Also, let me see. Also, here in the jump, boom, if that's also because you don't want the leg to be stuck on on this, so doesn't feel like it's hitting a wall there. So maybe if you delay it also, you could play with that so that here maybe keep raising the leg so that it also creates an arc, really nice arc. So also track with the motion trail the ankle to make sure that it's moving really in a nice arc. And also be careful with this kind of rotation. See the foot, how it's keeping the same rotation, kind of it's moving a bit, but more or less the same rotation. And then over one frame, boom, it changes the rotation. It completely rotates this way. So always rotations and kind of stuff. Try to smooth it out and uh, don't make the movement in just one frame. And same with the arms, they are moving up. Then here, see spacing, boom, then this arm pops up and then pops down again, and the other arm pops up. So just clean it up. Maybe this arm stays lower, so the transition is is into the pose. So this arm is reaching the pose. So it's really nice because right now it's kind of up and down. So really track the wrist. Same here. Make sure that it's not popping, this arm is not popping because now it's moving down and then up again. So it, and then you see it's moving up, getting stuck, and then down. So maybe here, if it's moving up, then this one keeps moving up a little bit. Then this one here still up, dragging, creating that overlap. And then here still up, creating that overlap. And then here, boom, you can start to drag it down, maybe even more probably. Boom, 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 maybe even more probably. Boom, yeah, something like this. Boom, 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 even more. Probably here like this. This is the back arm, by the way. This one like this, and then reaching the straight kind of now. So you see how boom is it just we see the motion a bit better. Boom, boom, boom. And I guess you could do the same with the other arm. Maybe not as exaggerated, but maybe you can drag a bit the arm here, the elbow here as well, here a bit more, then here as well, dragging the arm, creating that overlap. Then here, no, this one would be reaching already. So something like that. Boom. See? Of course, this back arm, I deleted the drawing, but it's something like this. Mm. And also, when they reach the point, make sure that they don't feel like hitting a wall. If they reach this pose, this the next pose there is an easing, so they keep moving up for 1 or 2 frames, so the wrist reaches the pose but doesn't get hit a wall or get stuck. Keep moving up a slightly bit. Same with the head here. I think you can anticipate down a bit more, so rotate the head down a bit more so that all this part, as he from this frame, you can start to rotate the head down, 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 so that it's this, so it creates a nicer arc in the head. So in exaggerating the arc that the head creates. Down, and then for the push, this one would be more like this. Boom. This one would be more like this. This one would be a bit more like this. And this just a tiny bit forward. But see how creating that nicer arc on the head. Um, okay, what else? Mm, be careful with the hands, same as the last notes. Try to create a nicer easing. So see how here, boom, the hands pop into this pose, and then you have a nice easing here, but it's just one frame kind of. So maybe here, instead of having, well, no, this the jump pose, so this one is fine, but maybe here have as no, don't move them up as much, so that in this frame they keep moving up a bit more in relation to the body, so that you have a nicer cushion in the hands. Just tiny things to improve the movement. And here also, I wouldn't start rotating the torso and head down so early, because right now he's still jumping, and he's already rotating. So maybe I would keep the inertia, keep the body a bit more straight, this part, and then from this, when he's reaching the apex of jump, is when he starts diving down. And also be careful, because this, see how it rotates quite a bit over one frame, so, and then the next frame doesn't move as much. So let me show it with the, see how uh, this is the head here, this is the head here, and this is the head here. So from one frame to another, sorry, it's really messy, I can't even, but yeah, from because this is the change that you're gonna make. So from, just try to analyze the head and make sure that the spacing doesn't have this kind of poop over one frame, that you see this is the top, this is the top, this quite a big spacing here, and then slows down. So smooth that out and try to clean it out a bit more. Then the head, the feet as well, see how they are moving really fluidly, and then boom, over one frame they pop up, and then pop 2 frames, and then uh, they reach the apex. But maybe this frame, you can start to move them up a bit more, maybe this one a bit less, so that in this frame they keep moving up. So just smooth that transition, maybe as well with the motion trail, analyze the feet to make sure that they are creating nice arcs, because here you see how they are moving, this feet is moving up, then this foot is moving up, then down, then up again. So it's a bit jerky. It's really subtle. Maybe it's just in relation to the other foot, but that motion feels a bit jerky. So yeah, just analyze it with the motion trail to make sure to clean it up. Um, See, because here, for example, this foot feels like a pop. Mm, okay, what else? Be careful here. This doesn't read really well. Maybe it's because of the proxy rig, but try to make sure that we can read better this pose, because feels just like uh, doesn't read. I don't know what's happening here. So maybe if we could have a better read of this pose would be nicer. Also, be careful here. Maybe here you're gonna start to bend just slightly bit the leg so that it doesn't pop the bending here because it's really straight here and bending. So maybe you can start to bend the leg here. Um, Also be careful here. See how it's moving, rotating. Here is sliding over the container, then it's rotating again, then it's sliding. So if it's sliding a slightly bit, maybe here is nice. Maybe this is sliding too much, and so keep some sliding to do for this. So it's not only rotating here, and here also try to maybe if this is sliding. So you see how is here is rotating, sliding, rotating, sliding. So just make the slide a bit more progressive. And here just be careful, this one reads as a pop as well. Um, and also see how the head poop feels like a pop and then kind of gets stuck onto the place and it's moving, see it's moving forward, then this one is moving back, then it's moving forward again. So just try to clean that up. Maybe here you don't need to push the head so fast, so forward so fast. So this one could stay a bit more back, boom, boom, boom. So when you reach the pose, this pose, the head always is moving forward, see? Boom, boom, boom. And here same, there is a pop here in the arm. So with the motion trail, if you can analyze the movement to make sure that maybe here is dragging up a bit more, and then as you have it, because right now it feels a bit poppy there. Um, Same here. I feel that the body is moving too much, so maybe you can actually exaggerate the overlap here. Keep the head rotating back, so you have a nicer arc on the head. Because right now in this pose feels like the whole body just translates forward a bit, so creating that extra overlap in the head to really sell the motion. What else? Here I would try to clean this pose a bit better because it feels a bit rigid. So maybe you can see how this is a really nice curve pose. So maybe try to have that in here. So maybe you can push the hips forward a bit more, rotate the torso so that and push the leg back a bit more. So we have this really nice um, line of action that we had here. Something just a tiny bit more uh, dynamic. And then maybe not as exaggerated on the foot, but just just a tiny bit more. Just a tiny bit more. Um, I think would be nice. Then he falls. Nice. This part is really nice. Be careful here. Maybe here. Let's see. Here, maybe you can start to anticipate with the arms here, because otherwise here they feel like a pop. So maybe here you can start to lead with the arms forward so that it feels like the arms are leading the action. Um, be careful here because right now the head is traveling back, but actually it always should be traveling forward, even though in relation to the body it might seem that it's moving back, but it should keep moving forward. So maybe here you would have to move the whole body forward a bit more, or just maybe don't. It's tricky. It's a tricky one. Maybe here don't move the body as much down, and this one just try to play with the head so you can keep them back a bit more. Because he also is moving back and then it's stuck. It's boom, hits a wall and they stay there. So maybe this transition, try to play with it so that the head is kind of like this, and then this one here also moving the body a bit more forward so that the head is not traveling back. Same here, I would start to bend the legs a bit more here, all this part, so that because here they feel a bit forced, they feel a bit too tense for this part. So I would keep this transition with the legs bent. Um, Here, be careful, there is a pop. See, this leg pops, so make that transition a bit nicer. Maybe here you can still have the leg a bit more raised, and so it reaches boom boom a bit. Uh, See what I mean? Something like that. Um, be careful here, the body is sliding. So here is really nice. It's reacting to the ground, but here the body starts to slide forward. So I make sure that the hips are not sliding because it feels off. Um, Here, maybe you could push this leg a bit more forward to create to have a nicer silhouette in this pose, because I think this pose would be really nice if you push this leg forward so that all this transition, the leg is a bit more forward so that in here the knee is not so much popping and you have a really nice line of action. And so we can also read better the leg, keeping that nice silhouette and line of action. Be careful here, the leg is popping back, but he's actually leaning onto this leg, so this leg should stay on the same place more or less, because he's actually, the weight is in the leg, so he shouldn't be able to move it, at least that much. So keep the leg there. I know this one is a tricky one, probably. Um, Maybe this one, keep the knee up so that it doesn't pop down and up again, the knee, because right now it's popping down and up. The arm, be careful here, see how the arm is moving back and then forward. It's moving back and then forward again, so it feels like a pop. So maybe don't move the arm that much back, keep it around this place so that you don't, uh, it's not popping back and forth. Then all this part here, keep the momentum of the hips. See how the hips kind of, all this part are moving forward, and then here the hips stop. They are not moving, they are moving really slow to the screen right. So keep them moving, so that maybe here you would have something like the hips would be here and the body would be, sorry for the drawing again, but you see how the really leaning forward, ready to start running. So he would be off balance to this side, ready to push himself to start running. Because right now, he does his weight. Look, his weight is on to, he's lifting this foot, so his weight is completely off to this side. So for him to start running, it would take a few more frames to really push himself off balance to the screen right to start running. So you need to be off balance already before he starts running. Um, okay. Here, I would actually be careful here. Keep rotating the foot roll this way, because right now it feels a bit stuck, the foot there. Um, and also be careful here. See how the leg pops, bends, pops bending. So here maybe you can start in this one to bend a bit more the leg. And here see how this leg seems that is being left behind, but it's actually running, so the leg should be still pushing forward. So it's moving, so the leg is moving forward, is put down. So here should already be a bit more forward. This one more forward, something like this. Boom, something like this. Again, the proportions maybe are not perfect, but I hope you get the idea. And here maybe is already peeking out a bit more, maybe even a bit more, without touching the arms, but something like that. And then he keeps on. Be careful also with this arm. See how this arm is nice. Boom, and then pops down again, and then pops up. So it feels really poppy there, and then pops down again. So it's boom, 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 boom. This is quite crazy. So here maybe don't move it down as much. Then here you can keep moving it down, and then here you can start to pick back, and then boom, a bit more exaggerated of the silhouette of the body. And then here, boom, a bit more, boom, boom, and then boom. Okay, so I think I addressed all the notes. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Oh yeah, there's just a bit more note. Maybe see if you can address it. I know these kind of notes are not the best when you are cleaning up the animation, but maybe in this jump, try to make it a bit higher. Because right now he jumps, and I feel that all the momentum from this jump, boom, we miss a bit the momentum of this other jump. And I know you are playing with the fact that this is moving. So I mean, it's really nice um, because actually, if you want to sell it like it's actually moving and you want to play with the weight, which is great, I think you could play it even stronger because right now the jump, it feels like actually the floor is being taken off as he jumps. So the jump feels a bit weak, but because you have it because of your idea, it feels nice. Like it feels a weak jump, but because the floor that he's jumping off from is moving. But maybe you could actually he's landing, and then when he's pushing here, start here to already push this container back so that all this part the container is already pushing back so that we actually feel how as because we feel now that he's jumping and he's jumping over a relative solid place, and then after he jumps the place is falling down. But if this is moving back slightly bit, start to move back as he's jumping, we actually feel that the thing that he's jumping off from is moving as he's jumping, so we can feel that he doesn't have as much power to jump, and so this kind of weaker jump sells perfectly. And this is gonna be awesome because if the supervisor sees your demo reel that you actually conveyed this kind of stuff, that is not just a regular jump, but you played into uh, you played with the fact that the thing that he's jumping off from is actually moving, and he's just barely jumping because part of the inertia is getting dissipated by the floor moving. I think would be really, really nice. So just playing with this moving a bit earlier, I think would be really a nice touch. So man, really great. I know there are quite a few notes, but they are just like cleaning up notes. So just do it and send it again, and we see if there are more polishing notes. But yeah, this is looking really nice. So keep up the great work, man.